And then we look at the vitamins. Vitamins are still organic. Okay, they are organic molecules that are very important for growth and survival. Okay, uh, we can say important for growth and health. So we can categorize them into two: fat soluble vitamins and those that are not soluble in fats, and we call them actually water soluble. So if you remember, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K fall under fat soluble vitamins. Okay, vitamin B and C fall under water soluble vitamins. Okay, so green plants can make some of these vitamins. Okay, green plants can make some of these. Green plants can make some of these vitamins. Okay, so let's look at the functions and the sources of some of these vitamins. So let us start with the fat soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, you can get vitamin A from milk, eggs, liver, fish, that leafy vegetables. Vitamin A is very important for vision, especially at night vision. So if you don't have enough vitamin A, you are going to have a problem with seeing at night, what we call night blindness. And then vitamin D is important for absorption of calcium, which is very important in bone health. Okay, so that means that if you don't have vitamin D, you're going to have a problem with your bones, and we shall look at that later. So you can still get that from fatty fish, egg yolk, fortified milk, cereals. The body can synthesize vitamin D from sunlight. That's something you need to note. Vitamin E is very important antioxidant. That means that it prevents some reactions from happening. These reactions that can happen within cells can result into problems, cell death, and things like that, cell damage. So the antioxidants, for example, vitamin E, prevents these unwanted reactions that will damage the cell. Okay, so we get that from nuts, seeds, vegetable oil, green leafy vegetables. Vitamin K, very important for blood clotting and bone health. We get that from green leafy vegetables, fermented food. And then the water soluble vitamins, vitamin B and C, because we have different classifications of vitamin B. So we have vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6, and B12. Okay, these are water soluble vitamins. So vitamin C is also an oxidant, and I've just explained what oxidants do. We get them from citrus fruits. For example, the oranges that we eat contain sufficient vitamin C. Berries, kiwi, bell peppers, and tomatoes also contain vitamin C. And then we come to vitamin B1, which we call thiamine. Thiamine is very important in nerve function, transmission of impulses across nerves. Okay, they are also very important in the process of breaking down nutrients to release energy, what what we are calling here as energy metabolism. B1 is very important. We get it from lentils, beans, nuts, whole grains, and pork. Riboflavin is an important vitamin because it supports the process of uh, generating energy, okay, and promotes good or healthy skin and vision. We get from milk, poultry, fish, and dairy products, including the green leafy vegetables. Niacin, very important in energy metabolism. So you can say that a lot of these water-soluble vitamins are very important in energy metabolism. And when you look at the processes through which these uh, molecules, organic molecules, are broken down to release energy, you will see where they come in to play an important role in the release of energy. Okay, so that is niacin, which is vitamin B3. You get it from meat, poultry, fish, nuts, and whole grains. Vitamin B6, very important in protein metabolism, red blood cell formation, and brain function. Okay, and then vitamin B12, still red blood cell. So when we talk about red blood cell metabolism, think about vitamin B6, vitamin B12. Okay, they play an important role in red blood cell formation or metabolism. Uh, Basically, red blood cell formation, not metabolism. And then folate still is very important in the formation of DNA, which is genetic material. And therefore, the DNA actually controls all the other functions of the cell. So it is very important also in cell division. That is folate. So actually, pregnant women are given what we call folic acid. Folic acid. Because they need it. If they don't get folic acid, then it is likely that they can have children that have abnormalities. So folic acid is very important, or folate is very important in having children that do not have abnormalities. Okay? So what happens if you don't have sufficient vitamins? You get diseases. Some of the things I already talked about. For example, insufficient vitamin A, you have night blindness. Vitamin B1, very vitamin B3, you have pellagra, vitamin B6 and B12. We are talking about anemia because previously we were basically talking about the red blood cells. So if we don't have enough red blood cells, basically that is anemia. So B12, B12, B6, just know we are dealing with anemia. And then you have vitamin C, you get scurvy, vitamin D, rickets, vitamin E. It is very rare to get a deficiency of vitamin E. Okay, and then hemorrhage, continuous bleeding. You cut yourself and the blood is supposed to clot so that the blood does not flow. When you have deficiency in vitamin K, then you're going to have excessive bleeding because the blood cannot clot. So let's look at the minerals very fast. The body still requires a lot of minerals: sodium, chloride, ions, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, and many others. They're very important for different functions. So let's go through this list. very fast. Calcium. When we talk about calcium, think about the teeth and the bones. Okay, teeth and the bone, they're very important. Calcium is very important there. So if you don't get enough calcium, you have issues with uh, bone health. Osteoporosis will happen in adults and then rickets in children. Remember, rickets is also associated with vitamin D. So vitamin D and vitamin D and calcium and the phosphorus, these are actually related. So you need to know how they are related in terms of bone health. Iron, just remember issues to do with red blood cells. Okay, if you have less iron, anemia will happen because red blood cells contain iron. So if you don't have enough iron, you won't have very good red blood cells. Potassium, think about issues to do with muscle function. Potassium is very important in transmission of impulses, and that means that the ability of muscles to contract. So muscle issues will happen if you don't have enough potassium. Relatedly, potassium and sodium are basically like very close in terms of how they work. So still the same thing, you get muscle problems because sodium is actually very important in impulse transmission, but also very important red blood cell, blood pressure and fluid balance. Iodine, you get goiter, the swelling that happens around the neck. The iodine is very important for synthesis of thyroid hormone, okay, thyroxine hormone. And then zinc, very important if for healing of epithelial linings. If a child gets diarrhea, they're usually given zinc to make sure that the lining heals. So it improves immunity and healing of the GIT hormones. And then magnesium, very important still in muscle function. So if you have deficiency, you get muscle cramps. Okay, so that has been our presentation. We have looked at the two categories of nutrients that the body requires. The nutrients that we require in large amounts, carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. And then those that we require in small amounts, including the vitamins and the minerals. Thank you.